I am Dele Doherty, and I'm a writer, director, and sometimes I produce, but I would call myself, I think I'm more of a writer and director, because if I had a good producer produce for me, I would love that. So I would say I'm a writer director. So that's basically, and I edit too sometimes. I think, yes, okay, but I'm a writer director, please.
I'm an independent filmmaker. I think that's kind of a great encompassing title for everything I've heard you say that you are as well. We wear all the hats.
How the artists,
We fill in what's not there and hope that we have more than we need. I primarily am a cinematographer by trade. I've been doing cinematography for better part of 25 years. I recently just moved back from LA. I was out there for a little over a decade and just did a lot of different projects out there.
Did you learn filmmaking in LA?
I learned filmmaking in Philadelphia originally. My background is I lived in out by Harrisburg when I was growing up. And I went to my first year of college, and I was going to engineering school just as a trade school. And partly because I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I was always taking things apart and putting them back together and stuff. So I figured that was a good position for me. But calculus kind of kicked my butt, so I decided not to continue with that. And I also didn't want to be stuck at a bench with an oscilloscope, for my career. I enjoyed being outside and stuff like that, and I was always into photography and sound and just different things like that. My brother had just recently graduated college and was working at his first production house because he went for film and television at a different college, and he's much older than me. But he asked me during my summer, in between my semesters, when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do after my first year of college, and he asked me if I wanted to help him out on set. He was doing a commercial for a local hospital, and they were doing some kind of nursing recruiting video. And I just remember fanning fog onto the set after having like the whole day to set it up and all that stuff, and just experimenting, trying this, doing that. And I was just like, wow, this is kind of fun. I could, and asked my brother, I was like, is this what you do every day? He's like, this and more. I'm like, that's awesome. All right. So that summer I interned with them for the rest of the summer and just kind of did as much as I could and learned as much as I could. I just basically showed up every morning and just hung out until someone told me to do something. Yeah.
So you see that when you said you started off studying engineering, I have some type of, I would say my case was similar, because I started off as a structural engineer.
Oh, yeah?
Yes. And
wow.
I did it for 4 years.
Whoa!
Yes, but it was kicking my butt.
Yeah.
I
can imagine.
It was terrible. It was terrible. So I got into the university back in Nigeria, and I got into the university when I was 15. And that's how I started, the whole structure. And I thought I was good at it, because for you to get into college, studied engineering, I mean, you have some type of intelligence, and you think you're good at it, and then it was very bad. And I'd always loved film. I'd always been a fan of film, because it's my uncle used to buy these CDs and DVDs and cassettes that time. I saw Titanic on those very big cassettes.
Oh yeah, like so, VHS or something.
VHS,
yeah,
that's what
yep.
Yeah, VHS. And I still remember how it looked inside the carton, and it's just something that has lived with us. So film has always been a tradition of us in our house, and I've always loved film, but I never really thought I would want to make film or I could make films. It's dreams like that from where I'm from is not something that is easily accessible, the go-to career path for anyone.
Yeah.
So have you seen a Nigerian film?
Not if I was aware of it, okay. I wasn't aware of it if I did.
Okay. Okay. So that means I would say you've never met a Nigerian filmmaker.
I have not, just you.
Just me. Okay.
Which
That's good.
you've set the bar very high. Let's just say.
Okay, thank you. The Nigerian film industry is quite, I would not say it's globally popular, but I mean, back at home, it seems it seems like a very big deal because we love film in Nigeria. And recently, from like 2019, I think 2019, 2020, 2021, platforms like Netflix and Prime Video, it came and started investing in the filmmaking industry in Nigeria. So it's one of my goals to make it more international, to make it more
Accessible.
You see how more accessible all over the world. To make our type of film, our stories, the stories that we like to tell, make it more accessible to the world, make it more global. You know how the Koreans will make Squid Game. And the Korean industry is very popular in Nigeria too. We watch a lot of Korean films. I think we are very versatile with the type of films we watch because we watch all types of film, even Indian films, American films, and and it's not like that with our films. So it is really one of my goal to make it like that, to make Nigerian films for an international audience.
Would you say there are, because I'm not aware of, Japan has a certain style, India has a certain style.
Okay.
How would you classify Nigerian
style
genre styles? Yeah. I mean, and it might be just so new that you guys are still figuring it out,
Yes.
or I don't know.
I think we're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
I am still figuring out my style because
And I'm figuring out my voice too. I mean, my voice with my cinematography, with my filmmaking, changes constantly as I'm more influenced by other things and by the things I take on. Like, the best filmmakers are ones that have experimented and failed and figured out what doesn't and does work. So,
yes. So you see this last thing you said, we were talking yesterday and I was saying how, how it's, when people motivate people, they say it's not too late to start, it's not too late. You can start in your 60s, 70s, it's not too late to start. And I feel like people should also tell people that it's not too early to start. Start early, start at an early age so that you can fail all you want and then your success can start to pick up. You can gain the right experience to, make something good at the end of the day. So when I started trying to be a filmmaker, because we have young filmmakers in my country, but it's hard for us. It's very, very hard. It's a struggle. It's a struggle. And that's, how I mentioned how it's not like a go-to career path for Nigerians to become filmmakers. It's not something that you tell your parents that you want to be and they're like, oh, wow, you should go and, so you're either a doctor, an engineer.
Sure, yeah.
The conventional type of career path.
I mean, that's a trope. Yeah.
So when I told my parents that I wanted to do this, they were like, you have to go to school first. You have to get your degree. And I'm like, filmmaking doesn't work like that. It's not. I'm not going to go to school, get a degree, then I start looking for a job. No, I have to learn these things. And the first set of things I made, they are horrible. They are terrible. But is what has led me to this part that I can make a film, a whole feature film. And I'm amazed at myself that I don't know how I did it, but I was able to do it. But and I feel like it's it's because of my experience of how I've tried so many things, and then finally it worked. I think yes. So, and you see about finding style as a filmmaker, I still am finding my style because I'm very influenced by Hollywood. I'm very influenced by the Western style of filmmaking.
Sure.
If in the scene I sent to you, where the killer was walking to the passage to the kitchen, and he was hitting the door. If you see that the camera pans with him, it's a reference from, or it's something I took from The Shining.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know when Jack Nicholson was hitting
Yes.
the axe, and then she was on the other side, and she was screaming. It's almost exactly the same thing I did. So I am very influenced by the Western style of filmmaking. I'm still finding my voice. I still want to go into Afrofuturism, Afro sci-fi, Afro cyberpunk, and all that, because I really like those genres. My plan is, incorporate this Western style of filmmaking into our African narrative, into our African story, the side of story that we like to tell. And the thing about Nigeria and Africa, we have a lot of stories. We have original stories, and these stories are very whimsical. They're very elaborate. There's a lot of fantasy to it, and I don't know whether we shy away from it or because I'm talking about back at home, I don't know why we don't tell those type of stories. We don't try to make these films work. I mean, we do a lot of folklore and all that, but not with the right style of technique, not with the right type of technique. You see Lord of the Rings. You see how Lord of the Rings is fantasy, is mythology, but it's still very well done. You understand? So that is what I am trying to do, and I think I like that I'm Western influenced.
Do you find that something wrong with that, or do you want to? I mean, I feel like you have to learn how to emulate something before you can figure out how to manipulate it and do it the way you want to. And so, being Western influenced, I don't think is a knock against anything, because once you know how to, embrace that, then you can learn to utilize and manipulate that to your own needs. Let's face it, storytelling across the universe is all fairly similar. Like, we all have, even, around a campfire, storytelling was told in a very similar way. You have something that catches your audience's attention, you have a climax, you have all that kind of stuff happens. So it just depends on how you insert your own cultural tones into it. And as you are experimenting and stuff like that, the greatest form of learning is copy.
Still.
Animals copy, using tools to, and we figured that out. And then, it's always been through history that we learn from other things by emulating and mimicking them.
So I would ask you, you are by profession, you're a director of photography, a cinematographer. How is your work relationship with a director? Like, when you're going on a set and, your work, you have to work with a director. What are you looking forward to? How do you see the relationship between a DP and a director?
It depends. My role is multifaceted. I have to be a technician. I have to be an artist. I have to be, someone that's managing multiple teams and people and things like that. But also, I have to be a friend to the director. I have to be someone that can ask the right questions to get into an idea of what your needs are. I'm more of just basically a facilitator for you, for a director. And then in order to be able to kind of facilitate, I just have to better understand what your goal and needs and approach is. And, you're thinking something intangible, and I have to make it tangible. And that's my goal, is how do I achieve that? Or how do I perform that to the best of my ability, given the tools I have?
Who is your ideal director? What are the qualities you are looking for in a director?
It's all different types of qualities. I like working with directors that may not, need me for much because they have everything figured out. Or I might like, and other times I like to work with directors that really kind of lean on me to kind of help suss out things. So it just really depends on the project. And also the scope of the projects are different. So if you're on a small crew or something like that, tendency is, a director is going to lean on you a lot more to help facilitate, be second eyes and ears on things, keep an eye out for when they miss something or when, but also like quietly assisting them. So I'm not someone that's like, oh, we forgot that line or da-da-da. I'll be like, after the scene's done, we'll debrief about it on the side, and I'll be like, hey, do you think you need that and everything like that? And let him make the decision, but basically is, just be assisting however best I can for what his needs are or their needs, I should say. There are directors that, are very technical, and then there are directors that are very more focused on the actor's performance, which depending on the project. If this is a big narrative, and they're focused on the actor's performance, which is what they should be doing in that sense, then I'm happy to take care of the technical side. But then you have other directors that are super technical and also facilitate what, the direction that they need for the actors. And so then I'm just kind of assisting. I'm just standing back and kind of, putting all the pieces there and hearing what they need and making that, happen as quickly for them as possible. And then, sometimes that can be more of like a manager, time manager sort of thing to make sure that we stay on schedule. Because again, that's another, big facet to our jobs is, we're always up against the clock. Yeah. So my job is extremely fluid as a cinematographer. Tendency is to have the lanes more well established. I really enjoy working with all types. There isn't a single
type of
because I mean for me it's on a job where I'm staying in my lane, I get to really focus on my job and I get to really perfect it. On smaller things where I'm blending and changing lanes and stuff like that a little bit, or just help facilitate different aspects that are needed. I get to spin different gears in my head and be able to think outside the box. And sometimes it requires a little bit more problem solving, which is also another big facet of our job that I really enjoy. Like we're constantly problem solving. There's never the same day. And so all those different aspects of filmmaking are rewarding to me. As a filmmaker, you've been on both sides as a cinematographer and a director. What are your preferences?
Okay, so I would say I'm very technical in the sense that I don't know if it's a flaw, but I almost never give my actors notes. So I'll tell you why. Even when I'm writing, I feel like I'm already editing for my writing. So I'm writing to the cuts of I'm seeing everything visually already. So while if I'm working with a DP, I have a complete short list of every shot I want to see. So, I'm not just saying, I'm not just blocking the scene. I'm also staging the cameras. I'm not just blocking the actors. I'm also, if a character walks from here to here, I know the shots I want to see while she's walking from here to there. So, if I was directing and I was not in the cinematography or I was not wearing the hat of a cinematographer or a DP, I almost tell you exactly what I want to see. And, if it's too complex for me that doesn't mean I'm not collaborative. That's the thing. I'm very collaborative. I ask what you think about. I ask my DP, like, what do you think about if we do this? What do you think about it? Because I like to try different things. I love to try different things, there are scenes in my film where the camera starts from eye level, static shots, and it dodges to almost a 90-degree, on that same frame, And I during those moments where I was making those type of decisions, I would ask my DP, like, do you think this will work? Do you know, how do you think this would work? Sometimes I don't even know what gear to use, but because I have a DP that is more experienced. And so, okay, now, if I'm taking a director's role, I like to work with DPs that are more experienced than me.
Sure.
Because the only reason why I'm not shooting that film is because I feel like I don't think I have as much experience, or maybe I want to be free from the camera to, direct the film.
Sure.
So basically, I like to work with DPs that are very experienced and, can, like you said, how you said, how you're making something that is not tangible, something that is in his head, and you're bringing it to life.
Yeah.
So I love to work with DPs that can see my vision,
sure,
and work with the vision, and also be a part of the storytelling process. So they have an understanding of the narrative I am trying to tell. The narrative that everybody there is trying to tell.
What someone like myself would come in and do is basically say, well, you want to achieve that horizontal to a vertical. Here are the best tools to be able to achieve that. And here's how they change the mood or the emotion of that shot. So you could do it on a gimbal and like have it do it very robotically, or you could do it on a Libre head where you have a little bit more of an organic feel to it, or you could do it with a Steadicam, and then that can be more reactionary as opposed to if you did it on a gimbal, it's the Steadicam can be more anticipate when the action should happen, whereas on a gimbal or something, or a robotic arm, it's so programmed. There's no, the timing can be really challenging. So, if your DP knows that your set or your style of directing is more like, in the moment, then I would kind of lean towards having something where it's more of an organic feel, where a human is controlling the camera. But if you're very much, like on a commercial shoot, everything has to be extremely precise because we're going down to the second on this moment, then that's where a robotic arm would come in and be more of a precision tool for that. And so that as what my job is to be kind of like almost like a doctor. I have to read all the trades. I have to know all the newest technology, so that I know when you come to me with a very complex shot, I take the pros and cons of whatever is available, technology-wise. I also take into account your style of directing, or what you have in mind, or how the piece or the project is written, and then I have to apply what I feel and sell to you, because you're making the decision. But I have to say, well, I feel like you are looking to do this. I feel this might be the best tool for that, and here's why. And then present you with those options, and then then we collaborate on that. So I'm just curious, like with your film that you did, what were some of the learning points that you had after that?
Okay.
Because that was a big step in your production.
Yes, it's my
experience.
First feature film.
Yeah.
First learning step was, I did not even know the names of some of the equipment.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
nor is it your responsibility. That's why you hire these people.
And when my DP, because we were talking from pre-production down to it was even the table reading was there. So I involved him in so many things, and he did a really good job. And I'll ask him, what equipment do we need? Because I'd not shot it an Ari. I don't even know how it works, because we used the Alexa Mini LF. Left for me, I would shoot with a Sony FX6 and be fine with it, But he said, let's shoot large formats. Let's shoot with something that has a better dynamic range, and then. He mentioned the name of a jan jib. I'm sure you know what a jan jib is. A jib is like a crane, but I've never seen or heard. And I was just hearing equipment that I'd never heard before. And I'm like, okay, I'll just pretend like I know
Yeah,
what
yeah.
And anytime he tells me or he tells me what equipment which I would go to Google and
Yep.
search what they do, and I'm like, okay, I get
Yep.
why you need this
Yep.
thing. I get why we should use it, And so I think every process was a learning process, was something was a learning point for me, because I don't know how I do it, but I can adapt. I can really adapt to anything I find on a set. We used tools like the normal track and dolly, but there's a way he puts the jib on the track and dolly that we could dolly in and tilt the camera and pan at the same time. And I'm like, okay, these are really cool things that so I think every step of the way was it showed how to deal with actors. It was a learning point, how to work with actors that are quite popular, because the actors I used in my they're quite popular.
They look
my
very
country,
good. Yeah.
So how to deal with them, how to talk to them, how to manage a production, how to manage a crew.
Yeah.
Because I also produced the entire film. So how to manage a crew, how to work, what to do, what not to do, what to prepare for, So if I was going on set now, everything that I had learned that seemed like a mistake in this one, because there were lots of things that I could have changed or I'd have liked to change, So many things that I might have deemed as a mistake, is are the things I'm going to, correct in my next, when I get the opportunity to make another film. So it was, the entire thing was a learning point for me.
Sure. Like what would you say is like something that you found that on this? Because I mean, the film looks very successful. I could not pick out any errors in my way of seeing it, just in the brief time that I saw it. But and everything flowed very well. What would you have highlighted as like, oh, I wish I could have done that differently?
Better.
Not better, just differently.
Differently.
Because you did it as best as you could for the situation you were in.
Yes.
So.
I don't know if it's my fault, but I don't think I think I just worked with what I had. The thing is, I would not write to a location. In this film, because it was a 2-location film, the location almost felt like a character, that I had to find that particular type of location. If not, I would not be able to tell this particular story. Do you understand? So first, it was really hard to get that location, the house that we got, and when I got it, the walls were painted white. And that was not the look I was looking for.
Yeah.
I wanted something that had contrast, something that if I put a practical light to pop in the frame, I could, and we were not like free enough to put wallpapers in the walls. If you watch the other parts of the film, we built the set. Like we had a passage scene, we built a passage in the passage. Yes, we constructed a passage and put the lights that we wanted. We used the bright wallpapers for that, but we were very careful enough not to even damage, because there was some sort of refund caution fee that if we damage anything in that apartment, we would have to pay a huge sum of money and all like that. So we were able to, the walls that we could paint or cover with wallpaper, we had to, and we're very careful with, and the art director that worked on it is very good too, and we were careful not to use permanent gum on the wallpaper so that we could, but it was coming off while we were shooting.
What?
And it will come off while we were shooting, because the gum, it was not very strong on the wall. It will come off while we were shooting, and then we'll put it back again, we'll come off, and so all those things is what I would like to change, what I would like to change, maybe scheduling, actors scheduling and all like that. So at some point, because it's my first time producing, I kind of like, worked with the actor's schedule. I think it's something that every producer, I think that's what every producer does, but like I kind of like put my time, I kind of like fix the whole thing surrounding where the actors will be available, when I could have done it, in my own time and tell them, this is the time I want to shoot this, so that it's convenient for us. So I think I think that's what I would have done differently. And, would have had time to really, the climax of the film, I think I would have done it differently. I'd have liked to, stretch it and, really, because at some point, there's never enough time on a set. It always feels like we're rushing.
Oh,
Every
absolutely,
day,
yeah.
yes, every day.
It's always compromising.
Exactly. Every day that goes by, you're spending a huge sum of money.
Sure.
Every day that counts, money is just going by the minute. It's not like it's one of those every second counts, in film.
Yeah.
And you're trying to make sure that, we shot the film in 8 days.
8?
Yes.
Wow.
We shot the film in 8 days. And
That's impressive.
it was a lot. It was a whole lot. But it's one of those things that.
And how much pre-pro did you put in? Like how many? Couple weeks? Couple months?
I would say months.
Months, yeah.
Say 2 months.
Yeah.
Because a lot of pre-production,
Yeah.
a lot of recce, lots of shortlisting, breakdown, rewriting, And while we were shooting ourselves, we were not meeting up to schedule, so we were doing, every morning we would look at it again and reschedule, and it was fun. It was a whole lot, but those are the things I would have liked to do better.
Or just do differently in the next one.
Do differently in the next one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
if I get more budget,
Because what you did and what you pulled off was amazing. I mean, I think, it's a successful film, and I think any kind of successful film like that stands on its own merits for what you accomplished. I don't think it's anything negative about it. I think, but I think any project, any performance you do in life, you can always pull away learning points that you would apply differently in the next one.
Yeah. Recently, with the films that have been coming out, there's always a certain type of technology that has been sold with that film, and
Adds to the promotion of it.
to add to the promotion, exactly. Like, see the recent Ryan Coogler's Sinners. Sinners was shot simultaneously on 2 film cameras. It was shot on a 65mm IMAX and Panavision, the normal Cinescope 239 by 1 Cinescope. So while they were shooting the normal 70mm, I think it's 65mm, but yeah, while they were shooting large format IMAX, they were also shooting, on the Panavision. And so there were 2 film cameras working at the same time, So, and
that's been done before. I mean, Cinescope was done with 3 cameras to be able to create the widescreen.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And they were so, like, the right camera filmed the left side of the frame and vice versa, and then they had a center frame.
Oh, wow.
And so then and it was all in one big contraption, so that the camera, all the lenses were lined up, in a precise way, and then they were all lined up in post. I want to say Technicolor, when that came about on Wizard of Oz, that was 3 strips of film that were all different color. So it was a red, green, and blue sort of primary sort of thing, and then they were blended in post to be more of an accurate color because the colors were so vibrant. And so all those things, it's almost like a car. Like, disc brakes were invented back in the 20s, but they didn't become main technology until the 80s. So, like, all of those different things are always around and always been experimented, but until it becomes affordable enough to be able to do it, the consumer doesn't see it. So something like that, where you're taking a 65mm and the IMAX to blend, seems like something that has been done before in a different way, and then they just repurposed it for a new version of technology that's now.
Because now that you talk about that, the recent series on Netflix, Adolescence, it was shot with a Ronin 4D camera, and it's a good thing that it was shot in 1 take, but it now feels like that's everything about the film. It was shot in 1 take. Yeah, it was shot in 1 take. We've seen so many other films that were shot in 1 take. Birdman was shot in 1 take. I mean, it was shot to look like it was in 1 take. 1917 was shot in 1 take. In Revenant, there were so many long takes there.
Oh, yeah.
I can mention other films like Extraction that has over 29 minutes of 1 take action sequences and all like that. But then again, as much as it feels like it now makes it the entirety of the film, I feel like it has a positive effect on the audience. So I'm asking, what's your take, with, selling technology, to promote a film?
I mean, I think it's important because when you have the right tool for the film, even if it's new technology, something that's fodder to talk about later, is wonderful. However, it really comes down to, like, are you doing it for the promotion of it, or are you doing it because it's the right tool for the right purpose? And there are always the tools that have been used for those one takes. The 4G or the 4D DJI Ronin or DJI camera, it has a purpose. It's good for what it does. However, if the scene called for a more demanding camera and they still made the 4D work, is that the right tool for it? Now you're making the production more challenging than it needs to be, versus are you choosing the right tool for the thing? What was it? A person I worked with did The Lion King, the newest one, and The Lion King, in that one, was all just a black box. They did it all virtually, but they wanted to have
the virtual camera type.
Yes, correct. And that technology was brand spanking new, and so it was a chance to kind of really practice a new technology, but it was the right tool for the right thing, because it allowed the Steadicam operator to incorporate organic movements, camera movements, where otherwise would have been done by a computer and more sterile. And so this allowed them to blend an organicness to a CGI movie when that has never really been able to be done except for artificially. And so it really kind of helped, push the boundaries of that technology. And so I felt like that was the right tool for the right project. The 4D camera, I think, is a unique camera. It has limitations, lighting, the compression on the camera, all those different things, could lend itself to be not the right tool. But then again, you have, they probably, if I had to guess, they probably took that 4D camera and outputted the signal to a codex recorder, so they had the right compression. Because again, it's a consumer camera that you're making into a professional camera.
Like how they were able to shoot, I think 12-bit RAW with the Atomos Ninja with
Correct. That makes more sense.
In the creator.
But having that camera, that 4D camera is a wonderful tool. I mean, it does a lot. It's basically the chicken head, camera. And I know other DPs that have worked with that for other projects, more reality-based, that love the camera. They think it's the most wonderful thing because it combines so many different facets of what they want and need into a single housing body. Has the removable lenses and stuff like that they need, and takes a load off of the operator, and allows them to have a higher production value look. But their deliverables aren't as high as required as by a feature film. So those kind of things happen. Those decision-making processes happen. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's excellent that feature films of that level basically are like the Formula One of cars. Do these new technologies, and then that filters down to the consumer. The only technology you need to make a film is the technology of good storytelling. So if you think you need a 12K camera to make your storytelling better, then that's fine.
You do know it's less expensive than, because it's about 7K.
What's that now?
The Blackmagic.
Oh, I know of it. But there's okay.
I'm not gonna be shooting in 12K.
No. But okay, so then why use the 12K?
It shoots large formats,
Yeah, so just, but so does the 5D. 5D is the original 5D is a large format. It's a what they call academy-sized sensor.
Okay.
So you're pairing a large format lens to a large format sensor. You're just basically trying to get a large format feel, which is shallower depth of field.
Yeah.
A more organic feel, I feel like. So I shoot medium format photography.
Okay.
So I shoot on a Hasselblad. That's square format, and it's I like it because it feels more organic to me.
Okay.
The fall off and all that stuff, it feels more real to what my natural eye looks like. And then the 12K camera, here's the caveats. If you're not going to shoot it in its native way, at its most uncompressed way, then you're adding all this dirt and contamination into your filmmaking process that's unnecessary. So now the flip side is, if you're doing a film and you reach out to Blackmagic and you say, hey, I'm interested in shooting this way, they might be like, oh, we would love to be able to promote this.
Nice.
Why don't we give you the 12K camera and you shoot 12K and all that other stuff? And then you have to figure out, okay, I'm going to be shooting 12K. How do I get the post-production process going? Which shouldn't be that difficult. But again, that saves money on the front end as far as camera rentals, but then you can put that into the back end of your post-production. And then you have not only the 12K aspect, but then you also have the promotional aspect and all this other stuff to get your film further on. If you're not wanting to take that road and you don't necessarily want anything other than the large format thing, then there might be a better system out there that's going to be more reliable. The reason why Arri is used on every set is because the reliability factor. They guarantee that your image will come out the way it's supposed to. On a Blackmagic, you're going to have you should be concerned with low light, shooting in low light. So if it's a horror feature, probably not the best camera. If you're shooting anything with fast movement, it's not a global shutter. You're going to have to be concerned about that. Those kind of things are what your system that you're working with, you have to look at the limitations, and will it hinder or inhibit anything that you want to do in your film. So if you have a lot of CG and stuff like that, 12K is great. That's why Red's so universally used in CG stuff. But then again, if you have a lot of fast whipping movements or camera movements, or if you're filming NASCAR or Formula One, it's not the camera for you, because it's going to do what the Jello vision, and so you don't want that, and so that's not the right camera system for you. Again, that's why Arri is so good, because you're not going to get Jello vision. You're not going to get all these other things that are inherent in consumer products, because the technology is just going to be used usually on something that's not really going to be have that quality control that is necessary. So I would just, I would look at the project. I would talk to who you need to be able to see what your limitations are for going in that direction. I think the Blackmagic 12K camera is a brilliant idea. Yeah. I think they have rethought the image sensor. So they're not only just doing like a flat silicone, they're doing layers of silicone. And then they're doing, so basically you have the photosites on the, red, blue, green. And then you have the photosites on the white on the next layer behind it. And then I think they're doing the photosites on the black on the last one. So, and I could be getting that wrong. Haven't read up on the 17K. It just got announced at NAB just 3 weeks ago. So it's brand spanking new. But again, something where if you're doing your next feature, contact Blackmagic, say, hey, I'm doing a feature. I have this cloud, I have this background. My last feature was on, Amazon Prime. Would you be interested in working a promotional trade with me
Yeah.
to be able to promote your new camera and see about it. But then again, talk with your DP, whoever you choose, and see if they feel where the red flags will be with using that camera system and how to work around them.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always a workaround. It's no different than like, you know, you could say, oh, we filmed all the main camera parts with LF, and then we shot these particular scenes with the 17K, you know, sort of thing. So
Yeah. So thank you for
yeah, my pleasure.
talking.
I really appreciate it.
Sweet
Yeah.
Nice talking to another film nerd.
Hey, give me a shot anytime if you want to talk more film. I'm happy to.
Okay. So one more thing. Would you ever plan on working with, you know, do you think you'll be able to collaborate on your projects with maybe a Nollywood filmmaker like me?
I would absolutely love to work with you. Yes, 100%. You have my number.
Yes, I do have your number. Okay.
And I'm around to talk, even if it's not for, you know, if I can only just even assist on information, I'm happy to talk to you. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, not a problem. Anytime. I'm really excited for your future.